Donnie Yen. Could there be a more well-known and exciting action star at the moment? Some know him as Ip Man, others as the Iron Monkey. He's been a tough cop, a superhero, a vampire hunter, Sun Wukong, and part of the Fast and Furious and Star Wars universes. And he has worked with the best action directors out there. So as we prepare for his next and unfortunately final collaboration with legendary Hong Kong director Benny Chan in the upcoming action thriller Raging Fire, also reuniting Yen with Nicholas Tse, we're going to take a look at his last 5 films. Hi, I'm the Artie Dance from Asian Film Fans, and alongside my good friend and collaborator John from the awesome action movie website actionflix.com, welcome to this Asian action hot list. And in this video, we're going to do some quick, rapid-fire reviews of the 5 Donnie Yen movies that released before Raging Fire. Now let's get onto it. The first movie on our list is from 2018. A teacher with a mysterious past gets a job at a Hong Kong high school teaching a class of students that the school has turned their back on. After 5 of the students are threatened with expulsion after a fight, the teacher gets involved in each student's life, turning their lives around and helping them to discover a passion for learning. Donnie Yen plays the teacher with the mysterious past in this drama film with action scenes. Yes, this isn't a pure action film, but the action scenes that are there are well crafted and enthralling enough to keep your attention, thanks to the action direction by Kenji Tanigaki, who later went on to direct Yen in Enter the Dragon, with Kawai Kam, assistant director on previous Yen movies, taking the helm on this one and doing a fantastic job. Part Dangerous Minds, part Dead Poet Society, and part Donnie Yen's usual good guy persona, this movie is very saccharine and feel-good in nature. Plot holes are quickly patched over in this rather pacey movie, and while it's full of cliches and stay-in-school propaganda, it's still a hell of a lot of fun, and the fight scene with the MMA crew in the locker room is one of the more energetic fights you've seen Yen feature in a while. John at Action Flix rates this movie 3.5 stars out of 5, and I give this movie a huge thumbs up. Yen's infectious smile and high-impact stunts blend in perfectly with the traditional Asian movie drama theme. An elite guard of the Emperor is frozen and awakes, unthaws 400 years into the future in modern-day Beijing. With the help of an orb, he is able to travel in time to change the past in hopes of saving his family, his village, and his emperor. Let's be honest here. The first movie from 2014 was utter rubbish. Set in Hong Kong, it was a strange mix of humour involving a deadly warrior time travelling into the future and being confused about modern tech. This sequel seems to have a very similar storyline, and quite frankly is not something I'm even remotely interested in watching. User scores online have commented that this is one of the worst Yen movies ever made, and considering how bad the first Iceman is, this must be an utter shocker that not even the most die-hard of Yen fans would sit through. John at Action Flix rates this movie 2 out of 5 stars, and since this movie is unseen for me, I'll withhold any rating, but quite frankly I can't see this being anything other than a massive thumbs down. In this 4th and final part of the mainline Ip Man movie franchise, the Grandmaster himself travels to the US to find a school for his wayward son, and while he's there, he catches up with a student who has managed to upset the local Chinese community by opening up a Wing Chun school and showing off the techniques in action movies. That student is none other than Bruce Lee, and Ip Man gets mixed up with the issues surrounding the community in the face of discrimination and racism from the locals. Going out on a whimper instead of the big bang that we hoped. This 4th installment isn't as action-packed or exciting as the 3 mainline movies beforehand. While Yen is terrific as always, there are moments where it feels like he would rather be somewhere else, probably on the set of Raging Fire, with some rather lackluster and short fighting scenes. Scott Adkins, playing Barton Geddes, is his usual excellent self, and alongside Chris Collins, they elevate the rather weak acting of the movie to bearable levels. But that's not saying much when their characters are still very one-dimensional, as seems to be the norm with Ip Man villains. While some people enjoy the exciting, if rather limited action, others lament the demise of the great franchise and heavy-handed racism themes that permeate throughout the whole film. John at Action Flix rates this movie highly, with 4.5 stars out of 5. I was lucky enough to watch this on opening day in China, and the reception at the time was positive. And I did enjoy it, but I haven't been able to bring myself to watch it again. My opinion on this is borderline, and I'm not sure I can recommend it to anyone other than die-hard Yen fans. Falun Zhu is going through a bit of a rough patch. He causes more damage catching criminals than it's worth. His girlfriend dumps him, and his demotion at work has resulted in an enormous weight gain. Enter a special mission that should put his career back on track. All he needs to do is escort a wanted criminal back to Japan. But things turn south in Japan when Zhu realizes the police are corrupt and his ex-girlfriend is in danger. The 1978 Sammo Hung original is one of the funniest and most creative martial arts movies from Hong Kong, so it was with much excitement when this part remake, part reimagining was announced. And with Yen in the starring role, it was assumed this would be a modern kung fu classic. But poor direction outside of the action scenes, the reliance on wire work, and the general silly tone of the film relegates this title to one of Yen's more weaker works. And releasing just at the beginning of the pandemic in 2020 didn't help its box office success either, with this movie skipping a cinematic release in almost every country other than Hong Kong and a few Southeast Asian territories, and releasing straight to video on demand. This movie flew under the radar of the key audience that probably would have enjoyed it the most. John at Action Flicks gives this movie 3.5 stars out of 5. I was very disappointed with this title, considering how much I loved the Sammo Hung original, and award this a thumbs down. When a teenage girl discovers that her father will be forced to join the war efforts due to his lack of a male heir, she takes his sword and armor and dresses up as a man to enlist under the family name. Proving her smarts on the battlefield, she is promoted and given more responsibility in the war efforts, while trying desperately in vain to keep her identity under wraps. Mired in controversy from the outset, this 2020 remake of the classic tale of Mulan frustratingly makes more changes to the story than needed. With a massive Chinese cast including Liu Yifei as Mulan, Gong Li as Xiang Niang, Jet Li as the Emperor, and Donnie Yen as the Commander, audiences were left bemused why a predominantly Asian-speaking cast was forced to speak in English for the entire film. Yen's role as the commander comes off the heels of his part in Star Wars for US audiences, proving a sense of familiarity against the rather unknown, in the US anyway, Liu Yifei. However, with all the negativity surrounding this film, it will be decades before the true impression of this film amongst movie lovers will be settled. Until then, John at Action Flicks gave this movie 3.5 stars out of 5. While my impression of this film was that it was rather entertaining, if pointless remake, of a story that's been done to death countless times. China produces around 3 to 5 Mulan-based movies and TV shows per year, and the only thing this movie has going for it is the budget of a studio like Disney, but that doesn't make it a must-watch. Thanks for watching this video. There's quite a few more Donnie Yen movies set to come out shortly after the release of Raging Fire, including The Monkey King: The Legend Begins and New Kung Fu Cult Master. Stay tuned here for more news and reviews on these and more Asian action films. Check back in the future as we will cover it all from the world of Asian action cinema. Don't forget to like this video and subscribe to see more, and to add actionflix.com to your favourites list.